Call tonight's council meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Mayor Yanish.
Here.
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Christensen.
Here.
Amon.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Dockin.
Here.
Fagerly.
Here.
DeBleek.
Here.
9 present, 0 absent.
Would you all please stand as we say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I would like to put one miscellaneous item, discussion of the 2040 committee.
Any others? Thank you. We'll move into the, are there any consent items that need to be removed or added?
I'd move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda as written.
Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry?
I'd like to pull the Rice Hospital Board minutes.
You sure may. Councilman Christensen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to pull the utilities minutes.
Utility minutes will be pulled. Further discussion? We'll file the consent items minus the Rice Hospital Board minutes and the Utility Commission minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Councilman Dockin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my sense in looking at these minutes that the resolution reauthorizing membership of the Willmar Lakes Area Chamber of Commerce, when I read them, in fact, I have a copy there, I believe was a D and an E and an F, and that does not appear in this package. And I'd like to ask that staff follow up and check on that. I think that's missing.
I would have to check on that, Councilmember Dockin, for we received them both from the two. We took what we received from the council, from Rice Hospital, so I was not aware that there was additional material.
I believe there's a D, E, and an
Okay.
F.
We will verify that then.
Thank you. I'd move to file Rice Hospital Board minutes.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor, we have a motion and a second to file the minutes of the Rice Hospital minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That motion carries. Councilman Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I actually wanted to pull both minutes, the hospital and the utilities, just to comment on the what Jim had brought forward, their recommendation to continue paying dues to the local chamber. 99.9% of the time, I support all of their decisions. This one, I disagree with them, but I will move to file their minutes when I'm done with my comment. I find it rather odd that taxpayer money is used to pay dues to a local political action committee that actually lobbies the elected body here. Something just doesn't sound right. I don't comprehend that.
Councilman Christian, can I interrupt you for just a moment and ask you whom you're talking about now? Are you talking about both?
Hospital and utility boards.
And
both
utilities, okay.
Both boards. And with that comment, I'll move to approve the utilities minutes.
Second.
Motion?
Mayor?
Go ahead.
One comment, I know you referred about taxpayer money. This is taxpayer money, but it is not tax money that is being used to fund this organization. I think there's a distinction there on that. And I have a copy of the resolution that the Utilities Commission passed authorizing this, and it gives their an A through F bullets on why it was passed. I don't know if staff hadn't received that from the commission, maybe I can, I
That
got
one-
my copy here, if,
That one is in the packet, Councilmember DeBleek. I think, as Councilmember Dockin pointed out, I think when I look at it more closely, it looks like we just had an error in photocopying where maybe the second page of it did not get copied on the Rice Hospital. But we will get that information. I believe the full utilities is in the packet.
yeah.
Just for information.
That's just information.
Councilman Hammond?
Mr. Mayor, since I had the audacity to bring up this issue and to refer it to all of our groups, I just want to make one final comment. After looking at the board of directors in both utilities and Rice Hospital, I question how many of them are members of the Chamber of Commerce, but that'll keep my comments silent.
Any further discussion? At this point, we'll have a motion
We do in a second.
I move that we file the minutes, yes.
Have a motion, yeah?
and a second. We have a motion and a second to file the minutes of the municipal utilities. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That motion carries. With that, we will begin the hearings with the ordinance amending Willmar Code Chapter 8, License Permits and Business Regulations. With that, I will open the hearing. Chief Henderson.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. I want to take this opportunity and kind of review kind of where we've been and where we're going to go. So what I put together, what you see up on the screen this evening, is the top false alarm offenders, if you will. We went back in 2012, kind of looked at the various occupants. There's 9, if you will, listed there. In the previous policy, includes all categories of false alarms, so that includes malfunctions, mischievous, unintentional type calls. And the venue was charged beginning with the 6 false alarms. So previously, if you did have a false alarm and it fall under malfunction, mischievous, or unintentional, or any of the other types of categories that we might put it under, you're given free or 5 free alarm calls, if you will. On the new policy, which would be on the right, the false alarms proposed policy, the new false alarm policy are deemed as malfunctions only. Malfunctions would be those that were undetermined, and I'll go into a little bit on the next slide, but you can kind of see from this particular slide that there was one occupant that had 11 false alarms last year. Under the new proposed policy, they would ultimately have 1. And in this particular case, all these are actually businesses, not single-family residents. When we look at the alarm fee comparisons, for example, as I said last time, we had one occupant that was charged for 6 times 250 is the 1,500. That accounts for the 5 free calls. The proposed policy, looking back at a bunch of calls throughout the year, we came up with roughly, there'd be more than 10, but the top offenders ultimately, there could be 10 people that would be charged at 1 call per person, if you will, or per business at $500. That's providing that they did not provide documentation to myself indicating that the alarm company had come out, taken a look at their alarm, and were able to determine what the reason of the malfunction was. So a little bit further facts. Again, looking for a receipt from an alarm repair company indicating within 5 days that their alarm has been serviced. All new and existing alarm systems will require a fee of $30 every 3 years. This fee, if a new owner, say, were to take over at the 1.5-year mark, for instance, would just need to come in and change their name on that particular permit. So it would not have to be renewed if a new owner took over at that time. The goal of the policy, and this is really the kind of the nuts and bolts, is to really encourage those that have an alarm system to maintain it. Last year we had about 98 false calls. Of that, it's about 30% of all our calls. We ran about 316 calls last year. So again, to kind of proper stimuli of alarm system, it would be smoke, dust, activation of a pull station, unintentional or intentional. Those would not result in a fee. What I'm really looking for is if your smoke detector or the fire alarm system was activated due to burnt food, a dry extinguisher being activated, either maliciously or unmalicious, that's normal operation of the system, in my opinion. What I'm looking at is the fire alarm arrives on scene, is unable to determine why the alarm had gone off. A detector may have tripped. There's an indication in the detector that indicates that it has. Staff at the particular facility is unable to give me a good understanding of why it tripped, so therefore we're looking for them then to reach out to their maintenance company or their alarm company and basically fix that so we're not called back again that same day or subsequent days after that. All alarm malfunction are defined as undetermined cause or repetitive, so more or less what I just described there. This gives you kind of an understanding of kind of how things are categorized within image trend, which is provided by the State Fire Marshal's Office. It talks about individually mischievously pulls the pull station. Would that be charged? No. Dust in a detector from cleaning or construction? No. Burnt food? No. Alarm activates due to steam. Get down to the bottom, repetitive activation alarm or detector for unknown cause. Obvious malfunction alarm system. Sometimes we'll get detectors that get water in them for other reasons, but again, that wouldn't necessarily be called. Yes, it's a malfunction, but we understand why. But really, we're just trying to determine the causes of the unknowns, if you will. Any questions from
At this point, I'd open it up from the community to see if they have any questions. Are there any questions for Chief Henderson? If not, I will close the public hearing and turn it over to the council. Do we have some questions for the Chief? Councilman Christensen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move to approve the amendment that he has brought forward to us.
Second.
We have received a, go ahead.
Thank you. Am I to understand then, Chief, that you will be looking at each false alarm and you'll make the determination, determine if there were extenuating circumstances or some of these other things, so you're the one that makes the call, whether it's charged or not?
Yes, I do have the discretion based on the ordinance to make that determination. So obviously, if there's extenuating circumstances in that particular, all that stuff will be taken into consideration before a business or an entity would be charged.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We have any further discussion? Councilman DeBlake?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You have a registration fee of, you're setting $30, and that's set in this ordinance for a 3-year period. Now, along with the registration fee, is there any kind of an affidavit or anything from the alarm company, or that someone has actually checked the alarm and verified that it operates properly before it is registered?
I have not looked at that yet, Councilman DeBleek, as far as that. My assumption is if they're coming to register their alarm system, that it is operational. There isn't, that would be my assumption. There will be that catch of trying to get the message out to get folks to register their alarms might be the bigger challenge.
Is that part of, if they do have a false alarm, is that part of the recertifying the system as well?
So just to clarify, so if they say a business had an alarm and we went out and responded, determined that was a malfunction, are you asking the question then, would we certify it then, or that would be their certification by having the maintenance company come out and take a look at it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I've got to defer to the alarm company to say, yep, it malfunctioned because of X, Y, and Z, and then let them certify that, yep, we replaced the detector or whatever the problem may have been.
Okay.
Do we have a way of knowing how the ordinance reads? How the ordinance will read?
Yeah, the ordinance is in the council agenda. The full ordinance is printed in there.
It's right here.
Pretty long.
And we're making an amendment
It is a
to the
lengthy ordinance. I mean, if you'd like it, we could read it, but I think it's
No, that's not
a lengthy
necessary.
ordinance.
It is lengthy. We have a motion to amend the ordinance How do I say that?
It's to adopt, number, and publish the new ordinance.
To adopt, number, and publish the change.
That's what I thought I said.
Exactly.
All those in favor, what's the roll call?
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
We have Sean here to talk about the ordinance amending the charter of the city. And at this point, I will open the hearing.
Sean Meskey, current Chair of the Willmar Charter Commission. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we've worked together in the past to put together a revised charter that I think is going to serve the city well. Promised you when we did that, we pulled out one section, and I would be back to bring that section here, and that is this evening. Section 208, the appointive offices of the council. A little history on that. We had that originally in the charter with the city administrator and the city attorney's job descriptions laid out, and the Charter Commission thought that was an important thing that we have those laid out, put them in the charter. Council thought it would be better to have the flexibility to be able to change those, and it makes it kind of cumbersome if it's in the charter. This was the compromise position on that we do have them memorialized, but they would be memorialized in ordinance, so you can change them as you need, and yet they are memorialized and written down in that ordinance. So if you take a look, it basically is the addition on there that the city administrator part, it's laid out by the duties as enumerated in a city ordinance, including the enforcement of the charter, and then that the city attorney is also laid out there as well. That position did not exist as a piece in the charter, and it would now. That's, I think, pretty much the gist of what we put together for Section 208.
Are there any questions for Sean from the audience? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and open it up to the council. Councilman Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will move that we adopt the ordinance amending this charter, give it a number, and publish it.
Second.
A motion and a second has been made to amend the charter, Section 208. Give it a number and publish it. Roll call.
Councilmember Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion carries. Thank you, Sean. Bruce, if you want to explain to us ordinance amending Chapter 13, streets, sidewalks, and other public property.
Mayor Yanish, members of the council.
Sorry, I will open the public hearing. Go ahead.
Okay. The ordinance before you this evening is a simple corrective ordinance. It was discovered over the course of the winter that there was a reference to a 12-hour period for the removal of material from sidewalks in the city, and the ordinance had been revised several years ago to increase that 12-hour period to a 24-hour period. What this amendment does is simply correct the one figure in the ordinance that did not get changed from 12 to 24 hours. It's a recommendation of staff that the ordinance be adopted, assigned a number, and published.
Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and open it up to the council.
Mr. Mayor, motion to give it a number and publish it.
Second.
A motion has been made to give it a number and second it, and publish it, I'm sorry. And roll call.
Councilmember Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion carries. Thank you, Bruce. Kevin, if you'd like to explain to us ordinance amending Chapter 3, alcoholic beverages.
Mayor Yanish, members of the council, you have before you an ordinance amending Chapter 3, or alcoholic beverages, article for on-premise consumption. persons eligible for a license, we currently have, more restrictive than the state of Minnesota, an ordinance that prohibits one person or entity from having 2 licenses in the city of Willmar. We know historically here that we're anticipating a business that is planning on having an expansion where there are 2 separate bars on the premise, and they would be prohibited from having that activity by our code, not by the state statutes. We have the city attorney who has drafted this ordinance, which would clearly remove that conflicting clause with the state statutes. This ordinance, if adopted, would allow businesses for on-sale consumption to have more than 1 liquor license. It is staff's recommendation that we adopt this amending ordinance, give it a number, and have it published.
Are there any questions or comments from the audience? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and open it up for discussion. Councilman Anderson.
I move we adopt the ordinance, assign a number, and publish.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to assign a number and publish an amendment to Section 114 of Chapter 3. Roll call.
Question.
I'm sorry.
Where did this come about? I mean, why was it brought up, or what was the primary concern? Could you refresh my memory on that again?
Why it was put in long ago in 1969, or why we changed now? Now we are changing because TPI Core Properties anticipates having a Hurricane Wings and a Green Mill restaurant on the same property. They are clearly having 2 separate bars, 2 separate doors, 2 separate cash registers, that whole system. We've reviewed that with the State Liquor Control Division, and they have ruled that it's 2 separate licenses.
Okay.
It is okay by state law to do that, just not here.
Okay. I just wanted to be refreshed. Thank you.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
And that motion carries. Going into the next public hearing, we will ordinance amending 1060, warning Willmar zoning ordinance by amending Section 9 relating to appeals. Bruce?
This is a matter, Mayor Yanish, members of the council, that dates back to the mayor's days as chairman of the Planning Commission. So if there was any confusion at the time, I'd like it all directed to the mayor and not to staff. There was a question and some disagreement about how an appeal was handled at that time regarding a conditional use permit. A citizen has recommended that we amend our ordinance to clarify that rather than just relying on a change of interpretation. Staff has prepared an ordinance that does very clearly spell out the process to be used for appeals regarding those situations, decisions by the planning commissions, that they go directly to district court, with the exception that in the case of a conditional use permit, the appeal to district court shall not be made without first applying to the city council for reconsideration pursuant to the ordinance as it exists today that gives the council that authority. That being said, it's a recommendation of staff that the ordinance amending our zoning ordinance be adopted, assigned a number, and published.
Are there any questions from the audience for either the Bruce or for the mayor?
Mr. Mayor, I'll move to...
I hear none, so turn it over to, well, close the public hearing and turn it over to the council.
Move to adopt number, give it a number, and publish it.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve
The ordinance.
or to amend ordinance number 1060, amending Section 9 relating to appeals. Roll call.
Councilmember Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
The motion carries. At this point, we'll go into the open forum. Is there anyone signed up to speak?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. I was preoccupied and haven't checked the slate.
It should be right by you, Kathy. Nobody signed up? With that, we'll move into the Finance Committee report for February 25th, 2013. Councilman Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first item on our agenda was public comment, and there was no one that wished to comment to the committee. Second item has to do with moving Willmar forward, a donation acceptance. Staff explained to us that the group Move Willmar Forward approached the City Council in December 2012, offering to contribute $5,000 toward the cost of an organizational study for the City of Willmar. In January 2013, the City of Willmar engaged Premier Fersman of Maplewood to conduct the organizational assessment at a cost of approximately $25,000. Move Willmar Forward wishes to contribute $5,000 to the city for these efforts and would like to make a presentation to us tonight. A couple of concerns were raised at the committee that while the funds will be put toward the organizational assessment, further limitations by Move Willmar Forward members will not be placed on the use of their contribution. Administrator Stevens assured the members that there are no further limitations other than to apply the donation to the organizational assessment cost. Secondly, there was a question on the legal ramifications of accepting the donation, and I would answer that question instead of a motion, this will be a resolution. That was the recommendation of the city attorney. And in that regard, there was a motion made, seconded, and passed, and I would introduce a resolution to accept the donation from Moving Willmar Forward of $5,000 to be used toward the City of Willmar's organizational assessment cost subsequent to city attorney review, and to express appreciation to them for their contribution.
Second. The motion has been made and seconded to introduce the resolution accepting the donation from Moving Willmar Forward of $5,000 to be used towards the City of Willmar's organizational assessment costs subsequent to city attorney review, and to express appreciation for them for their contribution. Is there any discussion?
Question. How do we clarify the Willmar Moving Forward group? I mean, are we having 15 or 20 different checks, or is there one checking account, or how is it going to be accepted?
I believe there's a representative here this evening and that has the check.
That was my understanding as well. There will be one check presented.
Is this a not-for-profit corporation, or legally legal to state, or is this just a quasi-group?
I can't answer that question. I think it would be best to ask the question of a representative of the group.
Yeah, I'm just curious to know how many people are...
The state of Minnesota, we're just a quasi-group of individuals.
Okay. And who are the individuals? Who are the individuals?
You had that name, those names in
There's quite a few.
the white paper that was used in December.
Right. Okay, so nobody
Mr.
else
Mayor,
joined? Or...
Mr. Mayor, could you bring him to the podium, please?
Sure.
It won't be caught on television.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Nelson.
Honorable Mayor, City Council members, City Administrator, and City staff, at the December 3rd council meeting, Move Willmar Forward brought some concerns to you that you were also considering in addressing or in the process of addressing. These concerns were in four areas. In the area of civility, our primary concern was meeting rules and governance. Tonight you are adopting a set of parliamentary rules for meeting governance, and for that we thank you. Our second concern was in the area of Vision 2040. One of the additional strategies was your full participation in the 2040 process. I know the first meeting has been held, and you had discussions about that at your last council meeting, and the stakeholders and the city were well represented at that meeting. And the city had 3 representatives there, Charlene Stevens, Kevin Halliday, and Councilmember DeBleek. Our third area of concern was in the area of governance, where we were primarily concerned with the area of conflict of interest. We were wishing that there was an outline or definition of potential conflicts of interest and understanding, a better understanding of what constitutes a conflict of interest. Move Willmar Forward looks forward to seeing the council adopt a policy that will positively address this area of concern. Our fourth area was the organizational review or organizational assessment. It was our hope that this organizational review would create a roadmap for the future of the City of Willmar and its organization. You agreed to do that, hired an outside consultant to assist you in this process. And to that, we also say congratulations. At the December 3rd council meeting, as has been outlined, and that was discussed at your Finance Committee meeting, we offered $5,000 to aid the city in paying for this review. I'm here tonight to present you a $5,000 check.
Wayne, can I interrupt you for just a second?
Yes.
And say, maybe we should vote on this before we accept the check?
I would certainly take the time out of my presentation to allow that to happen.
Thank you. My other question, Mr. Mayor, was if we're going to receive a contribution, there's 15 people that are donating money to our city above and beyond paying their taxes. As I mentioned in the Labor Relations Committee meeting, Wayne, when you were there, that there wasn't any need for you to give the money. It was already in our plan. It's a gracious gift. I appreciate it. But if you are going to, I would certainly hope that the people that are involved in this, the 15 individuals, I can't recall all the individuals' names, but that they be recognized and thanked personally. And with that, I'd be curious as to how many names or how many people they were. I know they may have not been identified, but I think good actions deserve good comments and good press. And I sure hope that the media will take the opportunity to thank those 15 individuals for contributing.
We'll take care of that at our next meeting.
Thank you.
And can we see to it that it's put in the minutes that there are no strings attached, so that people understand that?
I do have the
That's in your
resolution.
resolution.
It is in the resolution, and I can read that resolution if the council wishes.
Would you please?
Yeah. It states that the City of Willmar has received a donation of $5,000 from Move Willmar Forward on the condition that the funds donated be used for the city organizational study. Be it therefore resolved by the City Council of Willmar, Minnesota, that the city accepts the donation from Moving Willmar Forward subject to the condition that it be used for the organizational study and the city administrator be directed to express the community's appreciation.
Thank you. Councilman?
I think there is a list of names that are available on the document that, at least that I have. It might be appropriate for him to read those now, that they get credit for that at this time.
Let's do that. It would satisfy Councilman Amman and Councilwoman Nelson.
The members that were outlined in the white paper that was presented to the council consists of the following: Dave Baker, Bob Doles, Gary Geiger, Kathy Schwantes, Ken Warner, Ken Beam, Bev Doherty, myself, Wayne Nelson, Pat Solheid, Laura Warren, Russ Bennett, Marianne Doyle, Mick Schmidt, Clark Vollen, Ron Erpelding, and I believe one more was added, Roger Madison.
Thank you. And thank you for the donation we were about to receive, I guess.
We need to vote.
We need to vote. And that's the resolution.
It is a resolution, yes.
Roll call.
Councilmember Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amman.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
All right, money well spent.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. The next item on our agenda was the Rice Memorial Hospital Intergovernmental Transfer Agreement. Staff explained that the current intergovernmental transfer agreement with Rice Memorial Hospital expired at the end of December 2012. The Finance Committee Chair, City Administrator, and Finance Director have negotiated a new agreement for 2013 through 2015, establishing an annual amount based on a 0.8% of the hospital's audited net assets with a floor of $200,000. It was noted that the rate in the previous agreement was 0.75% of net assets with the same minimum. Following discussion, there was a motion made, seconded, and passed, and I would introduce a resolution to approve the intergovernmental transfer agreement with Rice Memorial Hospital as presented.
Second. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the intergovernmental transfer agreement with Rice Hospital as presented. Roll call. Unless there's any discussion, I should say. And then a roll call. Discussion. Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Listening today to the open mic show with Charlene and J.P. Cola, there was a citizen who did call in and was very interested in this transfer payment. I believe his question was, does it also involve the Rice Care Center, the Rice Therapy Suites, and Rice Home Medical? And it does. And he seemed to have some concerns with that. It would be interesting if the folks would take some time and go to the website for KWLM under, I forget the title, I think it's On Demand, and you can listen to the comments from a citizen that does have concerns in the community with the fact that I guess it would be important for us to know at some point in time what are the actual values of Rice Home Medical, Rice Care Center, Rice Therapy Suites, and then Rice Hospital. It would be nice to know those total values, and if it was a private organization, what sort of level of taxation would they be paying? I think that's an important piece of information.
Can we have that question answered?
I don't have that information before me this evening, no. But we can certainly have our assessor make some estimates on what the tax capacity and the taxable value of all those entities is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion carries.
The next item on our agenda had to do with the Willmar Township fire contract. Staff reviewed with us the proposed fire protection contract with Willmar Township. The formula used to calculate the amount due from the township is based on information from the previous year, which includes operating costs of the fire department and depreciation of the fire station and equipment, the number of firefighter hours used, and market values of the area covered in Willmar Township. Following discussion, there was a motion made, seconded, and passed, and I would introduce a resolution authorizing the mayor and city administrator to execute the agreement as presented in the amount of $33,704.96.
Second. A motion has been made and seconded to introduce a resolution authorizing the mayor and the city administrator to execute the agreement as presented in the amount of $33,704.96. Is there any discussion on that?
Question.
Councilman.
Our previous fire marshal, this is pertinent to it, but not directly related to it, and this is an opportunity to bring it up for discussion or just thoughts. Had a conversation with him and the former councilman, Doug Reese, about the concept was forming a county-wide fire department. And when we dealt today with Mr. Fursman Richard, we talked about combining the services, and I know it may be a very controversial issue, but according to our former fire marshal, he did state that he was instrumental in accomplishing that goals in other areas of the state, and that it was the overall direction of the State Fire Marshals Association to do the same thing, is to urging communities to merge forward in that direction. This would also not cut back on the services, may increase the time response to fire departments or to the person that has a fire, and may save lives. There were a lot of positives for that thought and for the reason and rationale, but it was a very complicated process of negotiation that took place. Each year we've been reviewing this process, and I think we're fortunate enough to have good communications with with Willmar Township. And we have a new fire chief in front of us now who's taken over the reins, and I'm just curious at this time to approve it. But in our long-range plan of what we're going to do and how we're going to redirect things, I think it would be we'd be neglecting our duties if we didn't at least consider or start a dialogue or conversation, if that is a possibility, to perform a task like that, to merge the fire departments into one so we can have better response time and to the people who live in the county, not necessarily just for the city of Willmar, but for all the people who live in our area and support it. And I just wanted to maybe discuss that and bring it out in the public, so I'm not hiding anything. It's been on my mind for the last year, and this is the opportune time to bring it up. And if it goes to a committee, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief, would you care to explain?
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. Kind of a buzzword throughout the state is kind of shared services. So when you talk about a countywide fire department, Hennepin County, from my experience where I come from the West Metro, they've talked about it with the city of Minneapolis for many, many years. Currently right now, when they look at what we call the concept of shared services, is really how many fire departments do you need, how many pieces of apparatus do you need within a particular jurisdiction in order to accomplish extinguishment of fire, response to a rescue. Can it be done? Yeah, definitely. I mean, the West Coast is a great example of that. LA County Fire Rescue. They do it with multiple municipalities. The city of LA has their own fire department, but they still have a lot of shared services, if you will, with the surrounding county or within the county itself, with other jurisdictions. So can it be done? Yep, I think it can. I think it's a long-range plan fundamentally from my position. And I think we have a lot of those citizens, if you will, or those other firefighters that come to Willmar and work within the community, and then ultimately they end up having to respond back to their community, to serve their community, to respond to fires. Councilman Allman, if the question is, am I interested in something like that, or do I see that vision, I think that can happen definitely in the future. It takes some time to get there, though.
Thank you.
One interesting thought that that I talked with the former fire chief about was that he mentioned that about 70% of all the volunteer firemen in our county work within the city limits of the city of Willmar during the daytime. So I don't want to make this sound like we're trying to, the city of Willmar, the biggest city, is trying to strong-arm this issue down or push it down anybody's throat. Earlier, I made a suggestion to the mayor to have meetings with the outlying mayors in the community to have dialogue, and he's accomplished that, and thank you for doing that, Mr. Mayor. Ultimately, I knew that this decision was going to be coming up, so now that I brought it up, it's something more for you to bring up your next meeting, Mr. Mayor, if you want to bring it up for discussion or dialogue. But I believe it's very sensitive, and there's a lot of pride with all the fire departments in the area, and they have a right to be proud of their community and what they do, and some of them are strictly volunteers. They work for next to nothing as far as compensation, and my intent is not to take that away from them, but at least open up a chain of dialogue so that we can at least discuss it, and if it comes down to that in the future, that we can share our facilities, our equipment, our more updated equipment, and assist them. And I know we have a reciprocating agreement right now, but if we can save the taxpayers money throughout the county, that should be the ultimate goal, especially if we can maintain a better service delivery. And I hope we can accomplish that. At least it has in other communities. I hope the end result, how many years it may take, would be positive. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
The next item were reports. We had just one report to look at. That was the Rice, January 2013 Rice Trust Report. That was for information only. Then we talked about some future agenda items. We will be talking and having further discussion on the waste treatment rates, and we will be reviewing the city's donation policy. So that was for information only. Unless there's questions, I'd move to file these minutes.
Second. The motion has been made and seconded to file the minutes of the Finance Committee dated February 25th. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That motion carries. We'll move into the Public Works Safety Committee report for February 26th. That would be you.
I get to do it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the committee report for the Public Works Safety Committee held Tuesday, February 26th. Item number 1 was public comments. There were no public comments offered at the time. Item number 2 was consideration of the engineering proposal to amend agreement for design services of the Western Interceptor Project. Planning and Development Services Director Peterson presented an amendment to the city's agreement with Donahue and Associates for design services. The scope of the services includes the design work to decommission the airport lift station and continue the sewer piping from the County Road 5 right-of-way to the lift station location. The airport lift station was originally constructed in 1963 as in need of replacement. Incorporating this into the Western Interceptor project will save money in professional services, contractor material, and mobilization costs, along with the lift station operation and maintenance fees. The city attorney agrees this work can be added to the contract the city currently has with, Geislinger. The amendment would increase the professional design services contract with Donahue and Associates by $19,673 and may be funded through the local option sales tax. A motion was made and seconded and passed for the following: to approve the amendment to the Western Interceptor Project number 1110, design services contract with Donahue and Associates in the amount of $19,975, and I would enter that resolution.
Second.
Your motion has been made and seconded to make an amendment to the Western Interceptor Project number 1110, design services contract with Donahue and Associates in the amount of $19,975. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion carries.
Item number 3 was the request for submittal of RFPs for the Sperryville lift station. Staff requested permission to solicit RFPs for engineering, design, and construction-related services for the demolition and replacement of the Sperryville lift station. In the 2007 Infrastructure Management Plan for the wastewater treatment facility prepared by Donahue and Associates, it was suggested to replace the lift station in 2010 due to safety, operational, and atmospheric concerns. The 2013 collections budget includes money for professional services, and the lift station construction would be funded out of the 2012 CIP funds. A motion was made, seconded, and passed for the following: to authorize staff to proceed with soliciting RFPs for design and construction related services for the replacement of the Sperryville lift station, and I would enter that motion.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to authorize the staff to proceed with soliciting RFPs for design and construction and related services for the replacement of the Sperryville lift station. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That motion carries.
Item number 4, engineering proposal for design and construction related services for the Willmar Willmar Avenue and 4th Avenue Southwest projects. Staff presented cost estimates for Bolton and Mink to perform design, project management, construction observation, and staking for both the Willmar Avenue Southwest and 4th Avenue Southwest projects. Willmar Avenue consists of the completion of the street across the former airport, including the quiet zone. 4th Avenue Southwest is a new cul-de-sac in the industrial park, which will include an alternate for a concrete roadway. After some discussion, a motion was made by Councilmember DeBleek, seconded and passed, and to do the following: approve both agreements by Bolton and Mink for services as detailed in their scope of services, and authorize the mayor and city administrator to sign on behalf of the city. And it says there's 2 resolutions there, and I would enter resolution number 1.
Second.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to enter the resolution number 1 to approve the agreement with Bolton and Mink for services as detailed in their scope of services, and authorize the mayor and city administrator to sign on behalf of the city. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
And that motion carries. On the second resolution, to approve the agreement with Bolton and Mink for services as detailed in their scope of services, and authorize the mayor and city administrator to sign on behalf of the city. Is there any discussion on that one?
What is the second resolution?
Bruce, the second resolution is for the second contract.
Councilmember Christensen, members of the council, yes, the 2 agreements are necessary, one for Willmar Avenue and one for 4th Avenue in the industrial park.
This one would be for the 4th Avenue.
This, yeah, sorry.
That's why they both read the same?
That's why they read the same, but one is for Willmar Avenue, one is for 4th Avenue.
Thank you.
I can enter the second resolution also.
Second.
Then we had discussion, so all the roll call.
Councilmember Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
And that motion carries.
Item number 5, cooperative construction agreement for with Candiota County. Staff informed the committee of a cooperative construction agreement that has been prepared for the city to act as an agent of the county in the award and administration of the contract for the construction of Willmar Avenue Southwest from 22nd Street Southwest to Industrial Drive Southwest. The county agrees to reimburse the city for the cost of the county-related construction items. Staff recommended the acceptance of the agreement as presented. A motion was made, seconded, and passed for the following: to approve the agreement as presented and authorize the mayor and city administrator to enter into the agreement on behalf of the city, and I would enter that resolution.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the agreement as presented and authorize the mayor and city administrator to enter into the agreement on behalf of the city, the cooperative construction agreement between the county and the city. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
And that motion carries.
Item number 6, approve plans and specifications for the 2013 improvement projects. Engineering staff and consulting firms have prepared the plans and specifications for the 2013 projects as directed by the City Council. The total estimated cost of the projects is approximately $5.3 million, payable from a variety of sources. Staff is requesting authorization to proceed with the advertisement for bids to be opened in multiple packages starting at 1 p.m. April 2nd, 2013. A motion was made, second, and passed for the following: to approve the plans and specifications for the 2013 improvement projects and authorize advertisement for bids. I will enter that resolution.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the plans and specifications of the 2013 improvement projects and authorize advertisement for bids. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That motion carries.
Item number 7 was miscellaneous items, and this is for information only. Councilmember Amon brought up the bar report and the progress of stormwater improvements. Staff will be reviewing the report with interim engineer Bogie for inclusion of incremental improvements that may be implemented in the next budgeting discussions. Councilmember Amon also requested staff initiate discussions with the appropriate officials involved in the Grass Lake project. These items were for information only. There was no other business, and I would, if there are no other questions, I would enter a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Question, Mr. or comment?
If I may first, a motion has been made and seconded to approve
Minutes.
the minutes. Is there a discussion? Councilman Amon.
Thank you. Sorry for interrupting. When I brought this issue up, it was brought to my attention by an individual that there are other options for us to consider on the improving the stormwater that we have backing up on 10th Street Southwest and Candio High. I believe that issue is going to be brought up by the Stormwater Task Force. I don't know when they're meeting, Ms. Stevens, but
I don't know that they have set a meeting.
they have. Anyway, in that report also, Mr. DeBlake, at the meeting, if I may, Madam Chair, we talked about the ongoing issue of the Grass Lakes project and where it was, and I had a discussion with the county engineer many years ago, or about a year ago, and I guess it was in the county's hands as to what direction it was going to be going and where it was going to be going. Also, the issue of the stormwater tax credits that we were not able to receive to participate in that project. I believe from the state that they should reconsider, and I think that should be a priority of this council somehow to send a delegation down there to talk to them, either from the mayor or Ms. Stevens could handle that also. But no is not an option. When I look at and when we have looked at the bar report and the watershed area in the district and how big it is compared to the watershed that we had back in 1905 when the County Ditch 23A was built, and I understand County Ditch 23A was paid for by 52% of the city of Willmar and 48% by the county, shows that that is a primary interest of the city of Willmar to discharge our stormwater down through that route. And without the participation and negotiation process, if it's needed with the DNR, we're not going to be able to get those stormwater tax credits, and it's very vital to improve our water quality. And I just think the answer we've been given by the Department of Pollution Control Agency as far as not getting the stormwater tax credits is not right. And I think it's time to sit back and maybe talk with them a little further about it to show our interest in participating financially with the project. It's been stalled. It's been over 20 years we've talked about it, and nothing's been done. And you talk about long-range plans. That's long range, and it's overdue. And I guess my thought is to get the consensus of the council or feeling of the council is what direction we should go, either that or refer it to staff and consult with the DNR and the residents of Lake Wakonga to get their cooperation on solving an issue that it's been ongoing, and it's not going to be resolved unless we take some very, very expensive steps, and I don't think we want to go that route, and there may be other alternatives with the cooperation of all those groups. That's it, just a comment. I wanted to elaborate on that, so it was clear. Thank you.
Do we need to vote yet?
Yes, sir.
You have a motion and a second to approve the minute, to file the minutes.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the
Public Works Safety Committee.
Public Works Safety Committee for February 26. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. That motion carries. With that, we will move in. Thank you, Audrey. We will move into the Community Development Committee report from February 28th. Councilman Beggerly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The committee met on Thursday, February 28th. Item number 1 is public comments, and no one wished to speak. Item number 2 was an amphitheater proposal. Bob Matheson presented a preliminary information on a potential amphitheater that he's been thinking about for a while. I know I met with him last summer to discuss it, and I told him he needed to go to the Community Ed and Rec Board, which he did, and now it finally came to our committee for the city. This amphitheater would provide a venue for a variety of family events and is a recreational amenity that is lacking in the community. Most of you know we use the showmobile now, and that's costly to move and set up all the time. The committee reviewed various drawings of a maintenance-free structure. The intent is for the project to be entirely privately funded. They have looked at a variety of sites at Robbins Island, 5 to be exact. However, other sites have not been ruled out throughout the community yet. Andy Beer was also there to talk about it, as he's an architect. The committee discussed facility needs, size, materials, cost, and future maintenance. Mr. Matheson asked for $5,000 from the city to conduct a feasibility and planning study. It is his intention to reimburse the city the $5,000 in the course of private fundraising. Following discussion, a motion was made and seconded to support the proposal and provide $5,000 for the feasibility and planning study. The study is to include discussion on maintenance and operating costs. So
Second.
that motion.
A motion has been made and seconded to support the proposal and provide $5,000 for a feasibility study and planning study. And the study is to include discussion of maintenance and operating costs. Is there any discussion? Councilman Naumann.
If we decide to go ahead with this project, which it sounds very favorable and sounds like a great project to support, are we going to, with that $5,000, we'd have to put this into our budget as far as the maintenance and when the operation, when the schedule is going to be done, when the project is going to be available for the public. Will this $5,000 or spending on the feasibility study be pertinent to the date and time that the project would start? How long is that good for, or just what are the coverages of that study?
Well, I think like any, I think any project, the longer it sits on the shelf, of course, the more out of date the numbers and such will go, and you of course know that from your own business experience and such. I think it's the $5,000 is the next step in determining really so that the council and the community can have that discussion about feasibility. Is it feasible to, as Mr. Mathiasen is suggesting, raise the funds privately for it, and then what would be the ongoing operating costs and maintenance for the city, so that we can have it. So the $5,000 is spent to give us some of those projections on what the construction, what the likely construction costs would be, and then what the operations and maintenance would be. And then I think that is something that would come back for further discussion. And if it's a project that occurs, I would say within 3 to 5 years, that's pretty reasonable. If it's a project that gets shelved longer than that, then we would probably be in a situation of having to go back and update those numbers. And hopefully that answers your question, Councilmember.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Charlene, so you're anticipating with this group within a 2-year time frame or 1-year time frame?
Well, I think what I would anticipate is that this would give enough information for Mr. Mathiasen to make a determination if he's willing to go forward with the private fundraising, if the city's willing to go forward with the operating and maintenance cost, and then I think then there has to be sort of a mutually agreed upon schedule for that.
And how long before, Charlene, do you think it will take before we have the ongoing operation and maintenance costs for the city numbers?
I think I'm going to turn to Mr. Peterson. I think if I recall, the proposal from Mr. Buer was to be completed in a relatively short time frame.
If the council approves this evening, I would anticipate probably 60 to 90 days for the feasibility study, and there will be a workup in that will lay out some basic operational costs, basic maintenance costs, certainly enough to provide the city information to proceed with budgeting for those costs in the future.
Thank you.
Call for the question. We have a motion to support the proposal and provide $5,000 for a feasibility and planning study. Do we have a motion and a second?
We do.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That motion carries.
Item number 3 is the downtown plan update. Staff provided an update on the parking study and gateway design effort. These are both actions called for in the adopted downtown plan. Item 4, the Rural Tire property. The committee continued its discussion of the offer by the Rural family to donate the former Rural Tire property to the city. Staff has gathered costs for demolition and back taxes. It was a consensus of the committee to withhold action on the proposed gift pending additional consideration. And I think, Bruce, were you going to talk with another company or business? Have you heard anything yet?
We have not.
No? Okay, so this is just information only. Item number 5 was the plat correction. Staff presented a request from Bonavas Surveys for a plat correction on the City of Willmar Interceptor Sewer right-of-way, plat number 12. Since the plat had been filed, a minor numeric error had been discovered. It was recommended by staff that the plat correction be approved and submit a bill to Bonema Surveys for the recording fee, since it was their mistake. I'll make that motion.
Second.
The motion was made and seconded to approve the plat correction and authorize the mayor to sign the certificate. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Standard motion, sir.
That's a standard motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That motion carries.
And if there are no other questions, I move to file the minutes.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to file the minutes of the Community Development Committee report for February 28th. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Consideration of the Civic Center Arena special event by on-sale liquor license holder permit. Kevin, would you like to explain that to us, please?
Mayor Yanish, members of the council, coming up here March 16th through March 23rd, the Civic Center has been rented out to the Willmar Curling Club, and they have been successful in their holding of a 8-day national co-ed curling bonspiel. There'll be 10 regions represented, and they are planning to serve alcohol. To do that at our Civic Center Arena, a special event permit is required. We have one completed by Baker's Eagle Creek Eatery, LLC, and with Mr. David Baker being the on-site employee. It is staff's recommendation that we approve that permit and have that issued in time for their event coming up.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the on-sale liquor license from Baker, what do they call it?
Eagle Creek.
Eagle Creek Eatery, LLC.
Eagle Creek Eatery, LLC. And that would be a resolution.
It's actually a motion, sir, but because it's alcohol, our charter requires a roll call vote.
Okay. We, roll call.
Councilmember Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
And that motion carries. And I might just add that that is a big deal. We have March 16th, we have, is it 8 days, did you say, Kevin?
8 straight days. We're all going to come out to hear your welcoming speech.
It is a national curling tournament, is national. So please get out there and make an appearance if you can work it out sometime during that 8 days. We'll move into the adoption of the Standard Code of Parliamentary Procedures. Charlene, would you like to explain that to us, please?
Sure, I certainly can do that. When you adopted the charter amendments previously, it made necessary that the Willmar City Council adopt adopt a set of parliamentary procedure of the standards that were suggested. The Standard Code of Parliamentary Procedure written by Alice Sturgis appeared to best meet the needs of the cities. We have purchased copies of those manuals that you, the council, have, and they've been distributed, and we have also purchased some copies for the chairpersons of the various boards and commissions. It's the staff's recommendation that you go forward and adopt the Standard Code of Parliamentary Procedure as the Willmar City Council's official rules of order. And also doing so, we would also recommend that we go forward with some training on that. And we have a citizen, Mr. Scott Thaden, who is a trainer in parliamentary procedure, and he's willing to conduct at least 2 trainings for the City Council. And we would propose doing those at your next 2 meetings. With that, I would make that recommendation to the council. And if there's any other questions, or if the council wishes to discuss it further, there were 5 or 6 different options available. I think we looked at a variety of those. This one did seem to fit the best. It's a little less cumbersome than Robert's Rules of Order, but still seems to meet the need, and the city clerk has spent quite a bit of time going through it, and I think he feels it does meet the city's needs quite well.
Thank you, Cheryl. Do I hear a motion?
I so move.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to adopt the Standard Code of Parliamentary Procedures as the Alice Sturgis parliamentary procedure. Is that a regular roll call or a motion?
Standard motion.
Standard motion. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Announcement of council meeting, that motion carries, by the way. Announcement of council meeting dates. Dennis, Finance?
Finance Committee will not meet.
Councilman Christensen, Public Works.
Public Works Committee will not meet.
Labor, Councilman Amman.
Wednesday, March 13th, 4:45. By the way, Mr. Mayor, we will be having the evaluation of city administrator annual review. So if the full council could attend, that'd be fine.
Full council attend on March 13th?
Or as many as possible.
Or as many as possible.
And the forms will be sent out within the next day or two and opened 1 hour prior to the meeting. And the vice chair and myself will decipher the information and consolidate it down in form for the council and the mayor to review.
Thank you. Councilman Tigerly, Community Development.
There's no meeting.
Under miscellany, we have
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember
Allman had stated that he's going to do the city administrator on the 13th. I will not be there. It's been on the city calendar for almost over a month now that I was going to be gone over that time period. I would request that you would look at a different date when all the council can be there.
Sure.
You didn't.
If there's conflict, that's fine. I think we need every voice there.
I think Councilmember Anderson is also maybe got we're going to be gone as well.
Okay.
Okay, is anybody going to be gone
We have-
following 2 weeks?
I'm going to be gone, too.
Rick will be, well, I guess that solves it. We're going to have to reschedule the meeting for it.
Okay. We'll work with you, Councilman Rahman, on another date.
Okay, whatever next following Wednesday. Does the following Wednesday work for everybody?
Yeah, for me.
That was for me.
Why don't we just schedule it for the next following Wednesday?
That would be the 20th then.
Yes. 4:45.
Thank you, Councilmember Allman.
You're welcome.
And then Councilman Blake, you had something under miscellany?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Just like be happy to know that the Visioning 2040 steering committee met this afternoon. Reviewed the budget. Budget right now, budget of expected of $39,700 for the project. The committee elected or appointed Ron
Erpelding.
Ron Erpelding as the committee chair, and he has agreed to do that. He will be taking over those duties. And also the other item was the financial host, which would be the United Way will be taking the funds and distributing those funds as they're spent. There is discussion about signature on checks. There will be dual signatures. And once there is an agreement that the United Way is going to bring back to the committee for approval as far as some of those stipulations as far as how the funds will be dispersed and who is going to be signing the checks, they will be taken over as that fiscal host. Had some discussion on the facilitator. We're looking at 2 proposals, which we haven't received back from the facilitators that we requested proposals from, and we're planning to have those back in the next week or so. And with that, we will review those and hopefully get a recommendation on who the facilitator would be within the next couple of weeks. So. As far as the committee, we're still looking for someone from the Somali population and possibly somebody from the medical center or the medical community to participate on the committee. And no, unless Ms. Stevens, if she's got any more to add on the.
No, I think that's a good summary, and you know, the meeting notes I think will be available in a week or so, and we'll send those out again as we have done before, as we did the last time around. But I think that summarizes it well.
Thank you very much. Any comments or?
And also, Mr. Mayor, we have Mr. Fersman, also said, visioning and planning and visioning are very important for the community and also for the city. I think the city council, we had a planning and visioning session we conducted back in April of 2011. It's been 2 years since we've done that. I think we need to, as a council, look at our own visioning and planning and how we're going to be structuring and running this city over the next 2 to 5 years. And I'm glad that Councilmember Allman is, with the city administrator's evaluation, we can talk about that process and how we can, how we're going to implement or move forward with a visioning and planning for the city, Willmar, the city council can do.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilman Doggin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things. In response to Councilmember DeBleek, I think we have to always keep in mind that our home rule charter is the citizens' constitution, and that tells us how we run our city government. That's what's important. And then also, item number 12, I wanted to say thank you to Kevin Mattson out at the Civic Center. What a great job he has continued to do out there over the years to get this bonspiel. That is just an incredible feat, and he is a dynamic member of our community. And
my thanks go out as well.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor? Councilmember Dock, and I agree that the charter governs what we do and how we do it, but planning, goal setting, and priorities are the main responsibility of the council.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more.
Mr. Mayor, for me. Councilman Blake, I've spoke with you briefly after the meeting the other night about my concern in the 2040 plan was that we have a public participation, the rank and file, people involved in the 2040 process. And I think when it was presented by Mr. Warner and Mr. Erpelding here on reopening the 2040 plan, I wanted to make it specifically clear that we needed the publics, not just a few leaders in the community trying to set the direction or the goal for the community as a whole. And I'm curious if the board or the 2040 board would be more interested or would be interested in opening these meetings to the public and advertising so we can get public participation input. It is their money, and I think it would be an open sign of transparency that we have these meetings not in closed session behind closed doors with just a few group of people, but have anybody that's interested come forward and address the group if they want. I'm not sure how that sets into the time frame, but I don't want to exclude the public in this process. And any way that the board could consider openness and transparency, I would appreciate it. And that's my other concern. Thank you.
I think the Councilmember Alman, the steering committee is very open to public. We want to have public participation, public involvement in the whole process. And by bringing in, I know we've got representation from Hispanic. You can say we're looking for representation of the Somalian community, but the public in this is a key part of it, and they need to be involved in it. It's it's a community vision, and it's not just visiting of City of Willmar, hospital utilities, or the county school board. It's an entire community vision. Yes, I agree that the public is a very important component on that, and we're steering committee is working hard to include that.
Thank you. Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Maybe, I don't know if it's being audio videotaped, maybe we should do that so there's no, I know minutes of a lot of meetings don't describe what's happening or you don't get the flavor of it. And I don't know, is it being audio taped or videotaped? The meetings, 2040? Probably wouldn't hurt to have that.
The city is one stakeholder in the process. I'm sure that can be suggested, and if somebody and to do so. I mean, the process is pretty similar to the last vision, where the steering team's role is just to facilitate kind of the, I would say, the logistics of it. The actual consultant that's hired will be the one that facilitates all of the community opportunities and the community meetings, and I think that was the process that was used the last time around. And there were a 2-day workshop for the community. I think we're looking to see what the potential consultants can propose in terms of community engagement, and one of the things we've tried to make clear is that we want the broadest segment of the community engaged. And so whether that's in public meetings, whether that's in surveys that are online or other social media and such a thing, I think all of those things are still on the table in that process and such. But I think, maybe there's some confusion that the steering team, and again, the steering team is really just comprised of representative stakeholders throughout the community, and some of those have put in funding, and some of those represent different segments of the community. That's not the group that's going to formulate the vision. That's the group that's really handling kind of the logistics of the planning for it and the planning process, and will work with a consultant to facilitate those logistics and facilitate where the meetings are held. If there's food, sometimes those individuals probably will be ending up picking up the food, as that's what they've done in the past, is my understanding, and delivering that. It may be at a public meeting, those individuals may assist with, in my experience in doing these in other communities, is sometimes people are writing things down on large sheets of paper, and the folks are recording secretaries in those groups or taping that up on the wall around the room so everybody can see it at the end of the day. I mean, it could encompass all of those, but I think maybe some of the confusion is in that the steering team is the group that's going to decide what the vision is, and that's just not the case.
I would suggest that maybe once the facilitator is hired, that those meetings be videotaped, and they could be put on Rack 8 so the public can see what's going on and see the process. If we would have headed from 2020, we could look back in history and see exactly how or what was said and what was stated. I would like them to be videotaped, just so the public could, put it on Rack 8. We've got it. We might as well use it.
In terms of the community meetings, sure, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think if we're able to do that in the venue, and I think that would be a good suggestion, to try to find a venue that can support that and do that, so that if citizens can't participate, that's another opportunity.
With that, I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. Discussion? We are adjourned.